Hey, what's up, VC? It's Steve again, Harmless Rebel. Time for another video. This is going to be a concert review, a very late concert review. I'm usually pretty good about doing these within about a week or so of the concert. And with my trip to Florida and a bunch of other stuff that came up, I didn't do the one for Stryper right away. But I did see them about a month ago. And then Kiss I saw a few months ago. I wasn't going to do a concert review on that one, but I decided what the heck, I would put them both together. A couple people have asked me about the Kiss show because I posted some pictures and whatnot on my Facebook page, so I decided I'd go ahead and do that too. So I hadn't seen Kiss since 2011. When they announced the final tour, I was really looking forward to going, and then I saw the ticket prices. And at first, I was blaming Kiss for the ticket prices. However, I know some people that went and saw them in their area at amphitheaters, and they got relatively good price tickets. It really comes down to the venue I saw them at. I saw them at Phillips Arena, which I believe they changed their name. It's like State Farm or something now. It's where the Atlanta Hawks play, the basketball team. And every time I've gone to a concert there or any kind of event, I've gone to 2 UFCs there as well. The prices are sky high. And it just seems like it's that particular venue, which sucks. When Ozzy comes to, I was really looking forward to seeing Ozzy for the fifth time. Because I haven't seen him since, I believe, 2006. It's been quite some time. And the ticket prices are it's almost the exact same ticket prices as Kiss. I wasn't going to go. Kiss is a band that my wife and I both like, or I wouldn't say she doesn't spin their vinyl, listen to their CDs, but she likes their shows. She really enjoyed the last time we saw them, and the cheapest decent tickets were like $150 a piece, and I wasn't gonna to spend $300 plus whatever the fees were for us to go see them again, and. Especially when there was nothing new. You know, they haven't had any new albums and no real new material to go see. But then something came up the week before the concert. My wife and daughter ended up scheduling a trip to New York to visit my grandparents and spend a little time with my family up there. I couldn't get the time off of work. And she reminded me that the concert was that next weekend. So I went ahead and got a decent ticket. Usually for that price ticket, I think I paid $156 or something. Usually for that price, I paid a lot less than that. I paid $80 for Judas Priest, and I was 15 rows back. You know, I was pretty far back. I was about 5 or 6 rows past where the little mini stage that Paul Stanley goes to was. So very overpriced for where I was. I got some videos. Usually I put a couple of videos. I'm not going to put anything on this one for Kiss because they just didn't come out good. You know, Kiss, there's a lot of smoke in the air. They're shooting stuff all over the place, and none of the video came out very good. It's all really pixely, and I was using 4K settings on my phone, so it just didn't come out good. Now, I've heard a lot of good and bad about the concert, and there was good and bad about the concert. I've heard people complain about the backing tracks. The backing tracks weren't an issue for me. They weren't really noticeable. Paul sounded like Paul. For most of the show, it sounded like Paul was singing. It didn't sound like it was a vocal track in the background. I will say that the older Paul gets, the more he sounds like the stereotypical old Jewish lady. It was so funny, his banter in between songs. Now, I have seen some video that other people posted, and one thing I don't like about Kiss is their show is exactly the same from city to city. So even the banter and what the band says is exactly the same from city to city, at least from the videos that I've seen and from the show that I attended. The only time that it looked like sounded like he was using a vocal track was when he went to the second stage. All of a sudden his vocals got a whole lot better, and it didn't make sense to me. I believe he was using a vocal track there. I can't say for sure. just the quality of his vocals got a lot better all of a sudden for those two songs. The good about the show, it was just a fun show. Kiss is always a good time. I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. I could barely speak the next day from singing along the whole night. It was just a really fun show. It started off kind of bad for me. I'm a big guy. The guy to the right of me was a big guy, and the girl to the left of me was as big as I am. And we were all cramped together, and her husband or boyfriend that was sitting next to her was drunk, and he was complaining about all the fat people taking up all the space and really getting an attitude. And really, I really thought we were going to get into a fight. It was getting really ugly. He was complaining because his wife didn't have any room, which was funny because him and his super skinny son were sitting next to her, and either one of them could have come between us, and the problem would have been solved. Regardless, that only lasted through the opening. I don't remember the guy's name, but they had an artist on stage as the pre-show, which I thought was I don't know, it was a waste. I would have much rather them have brought a band, maybe brought an up-and-coming band to open for them, or last time we saw them, it was Motley Crue. I mean, there's a lot of bands that they could have brought along that really could have used the exposure. There's a lot of bands like Raven and some really killer bands that should be getting playing a lot bigger venues here in the U.S., and they seem to be playing little tiny places with barely anybody there. And I would have really liked to see them bring somebody along with them, but the artist was there. He does a couple paintings while he's dancing to music. I thought it was kind of silly. I've heard reviews of people that really liked it. It seems to be hit or miss. The show itself, if you saw the band in 2011, it's the same exact show. I think there were a couple songs that were different, maybe 2 songs that were different, but the actual show itself was exactly the same. And I don't know. I haven't seen them since 2011, so the shows in between may have been the same too. I don't know, or maybe they have a rotation. The one thing I liked better about the show from 2011 was they were using the stage setup from, I think, 78 or 79, which I thought was really cool. I actually preferred that to the stage setup they used this time. The stage setup they used this time was definitely more technical. There were a lot of little mini screens and just screens everywhere. It was very cool. What I like about them being back in makeup, though, is that whole throwback feel. So I did prefer that. But then again, it was the same exact show. So it was kind of a disappointment that it was nothing new. But again, it was a really good show. I have nothing to complain about. I had a good time. When I left, I didn't feel like I spent too much money. I highly recommend checking them out. I think there's about a third of the tour left. I think they're touring through October or November, and then ending it there. They say it's a final tour. You never know with those guys. I mean, they're all in their 60s. It may very well be. They're not making music or they're not writing anything anymore, anything worth checking out. Gene put out a couple solo albums over the years that were not even really worth listening to. I did get a couple things. I grabbed one of the tour shirts. And then they came in final tour ever bags. So that was kind of cool. And I usually don't buy stuff like this, but I bought one of the tour lithographs as well. I've been looking for a cool picture to put up above my, one big picture to put up above my desk here, and I've got some other signed stuff I'm going to put around it. But so I went ahead and grabbed one of the lithographs as well, which is pretty cool. And, that is where the prices were kind of crazy. The shirts, I don't remember what they were, how much I paid, but they were expensive. The lithograph, I think, was like $30 if you wanted the roll. Otherwise, they just put it in a rubber band. You were supposed to carry it around the concert, I guess. They had some signed stuff, but it was only signed by the 4 current members. And I mean, all the signed stuff was, you know, $300 up to $600-700. You know, and from what I heard, the VIP stuff, to get the VIP seats and the meet and greets, I heard the prices of that stuff was astronomical. So, you know, I don't know how much they actually make from the venue, you know, so it is a huge production. I'm sure that eats up a big chunk of what they make. Don't get me wrong, they're still making a lot of money. You know, it's a pretty long tour, and like I said, with the prices that they're charging for everything, there's a lot of money coming in. But it was good. Like I said, I recommend checking it out. If you've never seen the band, I highly recommend checking them out. I've heard people say it's their best tour ever. I remember seeing one of the guys on one of the message boards saying he's seen them 40-something times. This is the best time, the best show they've ever done. I think that's ridiculous. But it was a good tour. It's worth getting tickets for if they show up in your area. So next up was Stryper. Stryper absolutely blew me away. I've been a fan of Stryper since the 80s. My favorite album of theirs is To Hell with the Devil, which actually I've shown it before, but I have a signed copy of that on the wall over there. I ended up doing the meet and greet, which was kind of cool. We got to get in there. I think there were only 100 tickets available for the meet and greet. There were maybe 40 people, 50 people there for the meet and greet. It was really cool. We got to go in. We got into the venue 2 hours early. They gave us these little bags that Stryper History Tour 2019, which had, and I wish I would have looked at this when I got there, but it had this calendar in there, which is actually pretty cool. The calendar has all of their albums in the order of their release. It's a is it 18-month calendar? 16-month? I don't remember. It's got all their albums though. And I didn't notice it. I saw people with the picture and it didn't dawn on me. I don't know why. There was a promo shot in there too, and I didn't realize it until after the meet and greet, so I didn't get it signed. I'm kind of kicking myself for that because that's the only thing I didn't get signed. And part of it too is the merch table was there too, so I think my initial thought was people were grabbing those from the merch table, but they were inside that little bag, as was a meet and greet laminate. So you got the Stryper on the back, the band on the front, and then I got that signed by the whole band. They said you could only bring 2 things to get signed. People were bringing a bunch of stuff. I was surprised with how few people were bringing albums, though. I saw a lot of the photos and laminates that people were getting signed, and then I saw quite a few guitars. The guitars were pretty cool. A couple people brought up some of the Oz Fox or the Michael Sweet Signature Series, and both guys were like, "Are you sure you want us to sign these?" Because they're $1,000 plus guitars, you know, and the guys they wanted them signed, you know. So they were cool. I mean, they were signing everything. They were spending a lot of time talking to everybody. It was really cool. I got to talk to Oz for a good few minutes there. And then talk to what the hell is Robert Sweet. I got to talk to Robert Sweet for a few minutes, and then right as I started talking to Michael, Michael and I started having a conversation. The girl behind me recognized me, not from the video. It's a friend. It's actually a friend's wife that I hadn't seen in a couple years. So right as I'm talking to Michael Sweet, she goes crazy because she hadn't seen me in years, and she had been in line behind me for half an hour, you know. So then she started talking, trying to catch up, you know, and I'm trying to hold a conversation. It was kind of weird, and the look on Michael's face while it was happening was pretty hilarious. So we all made our rounds. We got our stuff signed. I ended up getting the 2 most recent albums signed. So this is Goddamn Evil. Got that signed by the whole band. These are going for crazy money. Even the regular pressings have gone way up. They sold out quick. This is the limited, I've shown this before. This is the limited gold vinyl pressing. And these are going for like $100+ by themselves. I love the artwork on this though. When you actually sit and look at all the detail in the artwork, you've got all the, it's hard to see, but you got all the angels coming down, and it's just really cool. Regardless, got that signed. I also got Fallen signed as well. So really cool. I had a blast. I also got a tour shirt, of course, which I always get. So there's the tour shirt. So this was the history tour. So this wasn't just Stryper playing Stryper. They did quite a few covers. I want to say they did 6 covers. Oh, and the one downside about the meet and greet was the meet and greet was 2 hours before the show started. So within 45 minutes, the meet and greet was over, and we were literally just standing there for, you know, an hour and a half or so before the first band came on. I don't remember the name of the opening band, but they were terrible. It was a really bad. They had one song that I kind of got into, but I could not wait for their set to be over. It was terrible. Stryper was amazing, though. Like I said, they did. They wanted to play some of their influences. Quite a few of the songs are songs that was on their covers album. So Heaven and Hell, they did that. I should have pulled up the list of all the stuff they played, because I can't remember off the top of my head. The biggest portion of the show, I want to say 4 or 5 of the songs were from To Hell with the Devil. They only did 1 or 2 songs from every other album, if even that. There were a few albums that they did none of. They did do 2 songs off the new album, which I was really happy about. It was a really great show. I was amazed by how good Michael Sweet still sounds. You know, listening to him do Heaven, excuse me, Heaven and Hell. And now, granted, he's a little bit younger. He's about 10 years younger than Ozzy, maybe a little bit more. He's a little bit younger than Dee Snider. He's a little bit younger than a lot of the cover songs he did. He's a little bit younger than Van Halen. His vocals just killed. He was hitting those highs and just blowing them out. But he did Heaven and Hell. They did a Firehouse cover. Let's see. Man, I can't even think of all the stuff that they covered. It was so much. They did Van Halen. They did Panama, which he sounded really good on. All in all, though, amazing show. I'll actually put some videos right after this. I was right up front. There was one person in front of me. Other than that, I was right in front of the stage. Had an absolute amazing time. But here you go. Here's the videos. Take care, VC.